Thanks everybody for being here today. Just address the defense and some of the concerns we had a year ago, I guess, that Coach Lennon mentioned. You know, the first thing is tackling. In order to play good defense, you just have to tackle well. And I think, how do you get better at that? You got to practice it. And I think you got to create those situations in practice. And we attempted to do that in the spring, made some progress, but by no means are we where we want to be yet. And we still got to be cognizant of that fact and work on it in our fall camp here. And we just need that to be better when we get to our first game and throughout the season. I think another thing that helps you tackle better is just knowing your defensive system better, and you're confident out there and you're in the right positions and you put yourself in position to make those plays. So those things are important to us and will continue to be an emphasis as far as just spending more time on it, drilling it more, and all those things. We just have to do that to improve on defense. The pass defense, we plain old got to be better. I think the way we approach things, though, we still got to stop the run in that. And the way we do play defense, we've done a pretty good job of that. And sometimes we're going to be a little bit lower in the league in pass defense. When you do that, our main concern needs to be the explosive pass plays. Because if you load up at times to stop the run and force teams to throw the football, you're going to give up some pass plays. But you can't give up those huge plays, and that has to be a point of emphasis, that we make people drive the football. You know, you give up those big plays, less chance for turnovers, less chance for the offense to make penalties and kind of hurt themselves. So the big plays are also part of that. Red zone, I think Coach DeBoer, Coach Lennon both mentioned we're practicing more in the red zone. Believe me, we're looking at what we're calling in the red zone, how we're scheming in the red zone. All those things have to be factors because you want to force field goals when people get down there. I think not only does it keep points off the board, you gain momentum. If somebody gets down there and doesn't score a touchdown, it really can boost your team. You got an opportunity to block a kick, poor snap, all those things. So those things just have to improve. I'm going to go on to personnel on our defense. I'll start up front. Our top returners up front on defense at the nose, Keon Swanson. Returns for us will be a senior. Ken Boatwright, be a second year starting. At the defensive end, Ezo Obiora is number one on the depth chart after spring ball. And then our top D-end backup would be Blake Miller, at this time a sophomore that played some last year. Those are the guys with the most playing experience. And in our situation right now, we need to develop some depth at the nose and also find that swing guy who can play a little bit of defensive end and give us some snaps at nose. Outside backer, Jason DeMonch will be a senior. Returns is our most experienced guy there. Hopefully we can keep him healthy for a year. Last year, that was a little bit of an issue late in the year, his health, and we need him out there. He's a big play guy for us and needs to make those big plays for us. Corey Lee is at the number one position at the other outside linebacker position. He gained some valuable playing experience a year ago, and our top backups would be Tyler Williamson, who was with us in the spring, who transferred from junior college. He's a sophomore. And Kevin Reed will be with us for a second year at outside backer. Inside linebacker position, Joe Ocon is our top returner, brings a lot of experience, and he's one of the leaders on our defense. And he'll play the weak inside linebacker position, and I think you're pretty familiar with him. And Brian Presame is slated to start at the other inside backer position. He did play some last year. I think you'll notice with him, he's just a different player than he was a year ago. It's always tough, those guys that transfer in. It seems like they need some time to learn the system, and he's in much better shape and better physically than he was a year ago. And then Talon Hunter also returns with some playing experience as one of our top backups. Go on to the secondary corner position. Our top returner is Terrell Wilson, and Courtney Richmond also returns with some playing experience. obviously, when you want to pick up your pass defense, you're going to challenge those guys to get better and better. And then we did mention we do have one transfer at the corner position that was with us this summer. Haven't worked a day with him yet, but we're happy with the reports we get from Coach Cleet in the weight room and his effort and all that. Emmanuel Soren from Florida International. And we got to see what he can do once we get to fall camp. As we get to the safeties, I will mention that this is the position that we return the least amount of experience. So we got to, work on this hard in fall camp. And the player that would have the most experience returning is suspended for the season. Boo Rogers, a violation of team rules, will not play for us this year. So our top player with playing experience coming back is Luke Thuston. Good special teams player for us in the past. I think you saw him a lot 2 years ago as a safety and capable of making big plays and all that, but he's our player with the most experience. After that, we really don't have anybody that played safety for us. DJ Cameron came out of spring ball. He's a freshman. At the number one safety, Dante Lewis was coming off an injury. He's in the mix there. And David Boatwright has been moved from corner to safety to give him an opportunity there. And then we do have 2 transfers that will be with us fall camp. Haven't worked with them a day. So hopefully that we can create a competitive environment there and find the right guys that can learn our system, fit into what we're trying to do. And all these transfer stuff is great, but they got to fit into what you're trying to do and be good teammates and all that, and we're going to work hard on that in fall camp. Any questions about the defense?
With the secondary being the big question mark, what gives you confidence about the group? I know you don't know all of them yet.
Well, I liked our effort in the spring. I thought not just out on the practice field, but I liked our effort in meeting rooms, and the want to was really there, and that's part of the battle. And the one thing about guys that haven't played a lot, they have an excitement and anticipation about them that can be very good. And nobody's in a comfort zone back there, and they can't be, because we got a lot of competition, and all the positions and the playing time will be decided what we do in fall camp. As far as the transfers, you like what you see on tape, it gets you excited, but until you actually work with them, you don't know what you have. But they're bigger, more athletic guys, and we think that they can help us.
What's most important to you, Bubba, when you're evaluating the safeties? Is it athleticism? Is it ability to break up the pass? Or what do you look at is most important to you when you're looking at playing time for your safeties?
Well, first of all, athleticism is very important. You're playing in space, and these are the guys that really have to save you from the big plays, whether it's through the air or even run plays. We talk about tackling being a concern for us and a point of emphasis. You got to be able to tackle in space, so you better be a good athlete. And the way football is played nowadays, you watch what we do offensively, and most teams do now. They try to create that space for their best players, so you got to be able to tackle them one-on-one. Really, any defensive scheme you have, we have a little saying we talk to our guys about: one-on-one is the best we can do. We can get you in a situation that you're one-on-one. That's the best we can do, and you got to make the play. So, sure, we'd like them as big and as fast as we can get them, but we will never sacrifice size in the secondary for speed or agility or quickness. We got to play the guys that can cover the ground and play well in space.
With Kenny and Ezra kind of having a year under their belt at their positions now, how much more disruptive do you feel like they can be this year?
Well, I think we hope they get better. Part of it's a little bit how we scheme against other teams and whether we can hold up in the back row. If you look at, we didn't run as many pressures as we did later in the season last year, just because we were not holding up in the back end as well as we'd like. So a lot that determines how we do in the secondary, I think. But one-on-one, they should be better. We work hard on it, and I think we're happy with Coach Schweigert being back with us. He worked with our defensive line in the past, and And we're going to challenge those guys in one-on-one situations. They got to win that battle.
Victor Burnett wasn't in spring very much. Will he be ready to roll?
Yeah, he's ready. He's fully recovered. But once again, we haven't worked a day with Victor. We like his talent and like what we saw on video, but we really have not worked with him at all yet.
What makes you think you could be better in red zone defense?
We can't get much worse. That's one thing. But other than that, we got to play better. We're going to practice it. We got to execute our calls. That's what you have to do. You got to practice it. You got to execute our calls. But we were not very good a year ago. We didn't force field goals when we got in those situations. So it's a point of emphasis, and you just got to keep working on it and plug away at it. And I think part of it, when you do experience some confidence and make some stops, that helps you in executing your stuff before. But that's what you got to do. You got to practice it. You got to look at where you're calling and prepare and do the best you can.
And what can you tell me about the backup nose tackles, Beelan and Campbell? Can you tell me anything about them? Are they both true freshmen or redshirt?
Yeah, they're true freshmen. TJ Beelan has a lot of talent. We think that he can play as a true freshman just physically, but once again we got to get out there and work with him and teach him, and it's important to see how he develops. Ryan Campbell, same way. I think we're happy with what we see and what we got talent-wise, but we got to develop it and get him out there and get him ready to go.
Would you? I know Swanson is your starter. If there's some problem with him a game, would you rather go with Beelan as nose tackle, or go back to what you were doing in the spring with the 3 defensive ends playing there and moving the guy over?
That all depends on how TJ Beelan looks in fall camp.
Okay.
We'll evaluate that in fall camp.
Is Keon's ankle, is it 100%?
Yeah, he's moving well, and we expect him to be 100%. Okay, thank you very much.